sir. Here's the latest report from the 1st Battle Group sector. Looks like they're catching hell.
Well, it doesn't look good. The CO reports that enemy artillery fire is inflicting heavy casualties. Companies Alpha and Charlie are pinned down. That means they're probably getting it from somewhere in this area. But where exactly is the problem?
This commander is faced with the age-old question of detecting enemy position, a problem that goes hand in hand with frontal warfare. In arriving at the answer, he is assisted by a number of agencies that are culminated in G2, or combat intelligence. Before decisions are arrived at, however, a fundamental question must first be answered. What's going on the other side? Direct human observation has been, in the past and is today, one of the basic methods of gathering intelligence information. In the early days of the West, cavalry scouts relayed their information of Indian movements by means of mirror signals. During the Civil War, a radical method was employed for observation: balloons. Professor Lowe issued on May 4th, 1862, the first aerial military surveillance report by means of telegraphic equipment. The next advancement in observation was during World War I, the airplane. Both sides were quick to exploit the airplane for spotting troop movement and disposition. In World War II, the airplane served as a prime device for gathering surveillance information. Pilots flying swift, stripped-down fighters carried photographic equipment deep into the enemy homeland. The Cold War brought about more refined equipment for gathering information. Deeper penetrations were made, larger land areas covered. Today, space-age surveillance has all but eliminated the human factor from information gathering. Space vehicles orbiting the Earth accomplish the same task. The satellite concept is fine for great land masses, but by their very nature, satellites are not readily adaptable to smaller localized areas, such as those found in battlefield conditions. In the front lines, conditions are fluid and changing by the minute, and call for decisions of movement, counter-movement, or attack. Decisions which result from assessing and evaluating intelligence information obtained from varied sources, some closely akin to those used by the scout with his flashing mirror. Now, added to the ranks of information-gathering sources and affording to field commanders a wider intelligence latitude, comes a new product: the U.S. Army SD-2 surveillance drone system. Here's the Army's latest addition to its surveillance capability, the SD-2 drone, manufactured and flight tested under government contract by Aerojet's Aeronautical Division. Appointed system contractor, the division was made responsible for the management, development, and compatibility of the SD-2 system. This 16-foot-long pilotless aircraft, with a wingspan of 13 feet, is capable of controlled penetration over enemy territory without the risk of human life. Its prime function is to carry and position remotely controlled surveillance sensors over a pre-selected area of interest for the purpose of obtaining timely battlefield information. The payload bay also permits the acceptance of other high-priority stores. The SD-2 is classified as a low-endurance, manual, or automatically controlled multi-purpose drone. It will provide to the Corps, Division, and missile commanders the capability of performing combat surveillance and target location missions. This is the drone. It is, however, but one part of a larger total system, an overall system that is comprised of three parts. They are: 1, section headquarters, which commands and supervises the total drone operation. 2, maintenance, which prepares the drone and sensory devices for flight. And 3, operations, which supervises 3 functions: launch and recovery of the drones, final pre-launch checkout of drones and sensors, and operation of the master control station. Carried by the drone are interchangeable photographic, infrared, and radar sensors, each capable of providing permanent film record imagery. In addition, information can be transmitted to a ground sensor terminal where it is processed, displayed, recorded, and made available for interpretation in near real time. This is the KS-59 camera system. Operating day or night, it takes single-frame still pictures with adjustable overlap to permit either single-frame or stereo viewing of the processed film. The ANAAD-2 is an infrared line scan mapping sensor, having the tactical advantage of night operation without using flares and the ability to detect camouflaged targets. The ANDPD-3 is a side-looking airborne mapping radar capable of operation under adverse weather conditions, which would preclude operation of infrared or photosensors. Operation of the system follows this chain of events. Orders to launch the drone are received at platoon headquarters from Division G2 Air. Maintenance transports the operationally ready drone and sensors to a predetermined launch site. At the site, the operations squad readies the system and launches the drone. The master station operator then directs the drone over the mission surveillance course and then back to the recovery site where it is retrieved. Its sensor film is promptly removed, processed, interpreted, and the information forwarded to G2 headquarters to complete the cycle. Now let's apply this cycle to a typical tactical situation, such as the one faced by the commander in the opening scenes. You'll recall that companies A and C were pinned down by enemy artillery fire coming from somewhere in this area, an area which, reports show, is too well defended to risk manned aircraft surveillance flights.
Collins, alert the aerial surveillance platoon for a drone photo mission in the proximity of coordinates 605965 in the wooded area due north of there.
Yes, sir. You are to proceed with a photo mission in the vicinity of coordinates 605965 and the wooded area due north of there.
Now the system is activated. Pre-launch activity swings into action. The prepared drone and supporting equipment arrive at the launch site and are immediately set up. An Army trailer, which has been modified to provide a zero-length launcher, is headed into direction of launch and leveled by the launch team. Lookouts are posted. External power and pre-launch test set cables are connected into the launch trailer. The generator started, power on. The pre-launch test set operator takes his position in the PLTS van and switches his equipment on. While the drone is made ready, specific mission plans are prepared. This is accomplished by the section leader from a selection of previously devised general plans. He details such items as type of sensor to be used, route to and from the target area, mission altitude, sensor flight line, and so forth. When the course plan is drawn up, a copy is received at the master control station for installation on the flight path plotting board. This is the master control station, the electronic control center which issues, via a secure command link, the impulses which command the flight path of the drone, operation of the sensors, and other auxiliary functions required. This is accomplished by a radio trilateration system, which operates at a high level of security and navigational accuracy and provides correlation of drone position with data obtained. While the master station is being readied, final installations are made at the drone. The rocket boosters, which provide the powerful thrust for zero launch, are attached and locked into place. At the pre-launch test set, the operator makes a final go, no-go system checkout. The lights show green and ready to go. Once the launch is complete, the master station controller assumes command of the mission. The controller maintains constant electronic contact with the drone, giving it commands for speed, course, and altitude changes. This is accomplished by a master control panel operated by the flight controller. In front of him is the flight plan plot board, over which is traced the actual flight of the drone. Before the drone reaches a course change, the controller makes the necessary adjustments on the control panel and at the proper moment relays the command to the drone. The drone responds and assumes its new heading. Once the drone penetrates the suspect target location, the camera sensor systematically records the terrain on film as the drone follows its prescribed course. Because of its size and maneuverability, the drone presents an extremely small target to enemy detection and countermeasures, a margin of safety not enjoyed by larger manned aircraft. After the drone completes its final pass, the controller directs it back to the recovery area. The recovery team is alerted, and they proceed to the recovery point. As the drone approaches the area, the command is given to release the parachute. The pilot chute pulls out the reefed main canopy as the drone falls earthward in a nose-down position. Delayed action reefing cutters sever the restraining lines to allow a gradual inflation of the canopy. When the parachute fully blossoms, another cutter actuates to permit the drone to rotate to a horizontal position. After touchdown, the chute and harness are automatically released to prevent any dragging that might occur from surface winds. Working quickly, the recovery team goes about its duties. The film is removed from the sensor and is rushed to the field photo lab for processing. Meanwhile, other team members gather up the parachute. Then the drone is hoisted into the truck and positioned in its holding rack to complete the recovery operations. While the drone is on its way to maintenance for a post-flight check, The film with its important information has already been processed. Photo interpreters will read out the wet negatives for target locations and relay the information to Division G2 S2 Air, who in turn send the fire mission data to Division Artillery.
Watchdog Alpha, this is Bravo 1. We have confirmed enemy targets at coordinates 605, 977. Proceed with fire mission. Over. Enemy artillery destroyed. Companies A and C are moving forward. Mission accomplished. I'd say that pretty well evens up the score.
Yes, the score was evened up by pinpointed artillery fire. Pinpointed by timely surveillance information obtained from the SD-2 drone mission. Conceived as a system to augment other target gathering agencies, the drone section becomes fully integrated into the Army's battlefield intelligence operations. Its total operation from pre-launch to mission, recovery, and maintenance is contained within the section. This mobile system needs no prepared runways or landing strips and requires only a minimum amount of time to set up for launch. The sensors carried by the drone round out its capabilities. By utilizing photo-infrared, side-looking radar, or phototransmission, successful missions are accomplished under various conditions of weather, time of day, or target camouflage. This is the SD-2 surveillance drone, a system conceived to utilize the most advanced surveillance techniques and devices, yet engineered to provide high reliability and operational simplicity. A system developed and manufactured by the Aeronautical Division of the Aerojet General Corporation.